Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Parent from Love podcast. I'm your host, and I'm going to go over the Calm Parent Starter Pack for all you parents out there that might find that just a little bit difficult. No problem, I got your back. So it's going to be why we snap. It's not about willpower, control versus safety, top down regulation versus bottom up regulation. We need both. And your breath, which is a tool and not a to do, it's a skill. And it is, once mastered, very beneficial for everybody involved around you, within you, all the parts within us. All right. So, first off, I like to do a little opening quote. When little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it's our job to share our calm and not join their chaos. All right, the sock. I always like to do it. Start off with a story as well. So it's 7:47 a.m. The backpack is packed. The lunch is made, and you're already late. Your 5-year-old is on the floor yelling. These socks feel weird. You take a deep breath, then another. But the coffee hasn't kicked in yet, and your nervous system is screaming, just fix this now. The voice in your head gets louder. Why is this happening now? Why does this happen every morning? We're going to be late again. You're feeling it, the heat rising, the jaw tightening, the chest tightening up, maybe some heat on the back of your neck. There's a lot of different ways that people's bodies respond in these kind of scenarios. Your voice just sharpen, maybe you start banging things. Just put them on. We're going to be late. You snap. They scream louder. The cycle spirals out of control. But then somehow you remember something from that podcast. That one guy, goofy looking dude, said, it's not about willpower. It's a nervous system thing. You pause. You whisper to yourself, my job is to share my calm, not join their chaos. My job is to share my calm, not join their chaos. You drop down next to them, not to fix it, but to co-regulate. Those socks really don't fit right, huh? Matching their energy, but not their panic. You exhale audibly. Thereby modeling, breathing. It's contagious, much like a yawn is. When we breathe, when we hear someone else breathe, especially a little person and adults, I'm sure you're doing it with me because it feels so good. Once they hear it, once you model it for them, they can start their own process of regulation. It might not happen on the first try. This is parenting. This is working with people. And as I like to call it too, relational fields. We each have relational fields. I have mine. My kiddo has theirs. My wife has theirs. My colleagues have another relational field. Right now, in this moment, when there's panic, when there's chaos, I want my relational field to be me, to be true, to be parent from love, right? A parent from love. So, going back to the story, you wiggle your fingers and offer, want to shake it out like spaghetti noodles before we try a different pair. So, getting a little playful. Kids at almost any age, maybe until they're, preteens and too cool to have fun, which we all go through, unfortunately. They're gonna giggle. Oh my gosh, silly noodles? Yes. Just like that, the storm softens. You're not calm because you're magical. You're calm because you practiced. And this time you didn't pass on the pattern. You rewired it. You broke the generational cycle. So there's yelling, there's slamming, there's freezing. Ever been there? We're going to be diving into the Calm Parent Starter Pack now. Now that I've gotten you into the scenario, maybe there's something at the end of the day that you butt your heads up against and you just can't find a way to get out of that vicious cycle. First things first is getting a little bit of information on why we snap, right? Why do we get angry? Why do we get frustrated? Why do we yell, get angry, bang stuff, go into aggro mode, as you call it, beast mode, crazy mode, letting the lid off, flipping the lid. There we go. Okay, so there's a common myth that losing it with our kids means that we lack discipline or are bad parents. The reality is that snapping is often just a nervous system response. It's not a moral failing. It's all in the body. I don't know if you've ever heard of the book called The Body Keeps the Score. In that book, it really gives you a synopsis as to when our child says no to us, when we're in a situation of chaos, our body reacts first. We don't even know it. It's something that I love to take parents through is let's visualize when your child says no, when your child is ignoring you, when your child is on the screen, when you get home, whatever these situations are that may cause you to think certain things, right? So that'd be like a top down like expression of the emotion. Now, what I really want to get across to everybody who's listening is the bottom up part. And that comes from our bodies. So working with parents, I hear, I see red. I've heard my back, my neck of the back of the neck gets hurt. My chest gets tight. My palms get sweaty. My jaw tightens. Shoulders come up or they slouch down or I just freeze. I just numb. And I it's hard for me to move and know what to do. So these are different things that our bodies do that when we are able to, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them out. So when we are in this activation mode, child says no, child ignores, or anybody really, but really it's our kids that really know how to push that button, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, whatever it is. There's a certain feeling in our body, okay, and it's the nervous system. And so I just want you to think about take a nice deep breath. You're safe. You're good. Everything's okay. You're listening to this podcast, and I want you to take an inventory of when you go into the house, when your child says no, when you are ignored, when your child is on the screens and you're trying to get them off, whatever it may be. What is the thing that happens in your body? And for some, it's going to be maybe not possible right now. I know for me, it was kind of a journey to know like, oh, I'm actually affected in my body. Yes, there's going to be thoughts, and we could go to thoughts, but thoughts aren't really going to help us as much as going to the body. The somatic kind of therapy is where things release, and then you can make space for new things. But right now, I want to give you the picture that it's not a moral failing. This is a human condition. Everybody snaps, so to speak. So another way to look at it is if you're stressed and you're overloaded, you're overwhelmed, your prefrontal cortex, which is like our thinking brain, right? It's where we organize and plan. It's really the human part of us. It goes offline. It literally shuts down. We do not have any rationality. We do not behave in a way that is true to us. That is authentic, right? And so what that looks like is yelling, "Hey, I told you do this again. Hey, don't do this again or you're going to be punished. I'm going to take away screen time. I'm going to take away some random thing. Don't do this or you're going to go on a timeout." And then there's disconnection when that happens, right? Punishments and threats. There's a different way to go about it. And there's a kind of a systematic approach to this. But right now we're just talking about the like a very central part of that, and that is the central nervous system. And so When our thinking brain goes offline, we're literally going back into the time that maybe that first emotion that we felt occurred. And shame is a big part of parenting. Is a huge, I mean, let's name it to tame it, right? Shame is the name that we want to tame. There's a lot of different ways that we can shame ourselves because someone else before us shamed us. That's a learned condition. Shame is a part of the human condition. We all have shame, and it can be transmuted into something beautiful. We have to take a look at it first. Shame is part of anger. So when you get angry, you're putting up a front, you're putting up a wall because we got hurt. There's a pattern of shame that we haven't taken a look at yet. And when we're able to take a look at that, then all kinds of neat things can happen. More clarity on what I want to do instead of yelling at my child. I'm just going to go over the shame phrases that I hear from other parents and just kind of across the mental health kind of landscape is I'm not worthy. I suck as a parent. I'm a bad dad. What am I doing? This is tough. I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. What is wrong with me? I can't do this. So, yeah, these are very emotionally packed sentences and phrases in a split second when our child says no, ignores, does something that we aren't expecting, then these thoughts come real quick and the body sensations come even quicker. I mean, they come before our child even does their thing, to be honest. Science apparently says so. So, when our body gets tight, when our emotions get outside of us, then we can do things that we might later regret. So, this is why we're here, right? So, triggers often come from past experiences, sensory overload, or unmet needs. Willpower cannot override a flooded nervous system. It's not possible. That comes from the prefrontal cortex. Willpower does. And that's just not how we're wired. And by the way, that's like asking someone to swim with no oxygen. That's like telling someone, hey, lift that 500-pound weight, and they haven't trained for that. Hey, go run a mile, and they just broke their leg and they're getting rehabbed. This is what we're doing to ourselves when our nervous system isn't ready for children, to be honest, or any. This really comes down to relationships when someone's not doing something that we are expecting or we want to control, right? That's a big part of our brains. We're predictor machines. This is a really easy way to think about the brain, and this came from Lisa Feldman Barrett, Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett. She's one of my favorite neuroscientists. How Emotions Are Made is her book, and in it, she describes the brain as a predictor machine. This goes for babies as well as adults. So when we think something is going to happen and it doesn't, then all kinds of alarms could go off. Depending on how flexible you are, there's this thing called flexibility, right? We feel so safe with emotions of shame. We feel so safe with emotions of grief. We feel so safe with emotions of anger. We feel so safe with emotions of disrespect that in the moment, I can be flexible. I don't have to expect this to happen in order for me to have a good day or a productive day or whatever you feel like that kind of your goal is for the day. And it could be just be authentic, right? The more safe that we are in all these different emotions, the more flexible we can be, the way more calm that we're going to be with our child. And we're going to be able to give them the space because their brains are not where ours are at yet. They have not developed. We need to lead that development, and we lead it through feeling safe in different emotions. And I know that's can be a hard pill to swallow for some. I would say that it is really scary when you think of that. And it can be really exciting. It can be really anxiety provoking. And it can also be really adventurous, like really, oh, this is something new. I want to feel this emotion. So there's other ways to get there too. There's definitely other ways. So if you're interested in learning other ways other than like feeling the emotion, reach out to me. So the compassionate reframe, I'll go back to the signal that when you're with your son or daughter and they do something that makes you snap, having a compassionate reframe. So it's the reframe of I'm snapping because I need to work on something. It's not a sentence. So it's a signal and not a sentence. It's a growth minded signal. That's telling me when my son spills and just, I can't help myself but go berserk. Like I kind of get angry. I'm speaking personally here. I can do the work that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And that work for me entails mentally visualizing my son spilling. And when he spills, what's going on in my body? Oh, okay, my chest tightens. I just have this reaction. I just a jumpy reaction. My shoulders feel up. The more descriptive I can become with this part of me when my son spills something or when someone spills something, I instantly get jumpy. And so now I'm gonna think, okay, what do I feel? I feel angry. I feel, oh, like, oh, this is an inconvenience. Oh man. I could yell. I could be aggressive with objects, so you can call that. And then I could kind of come to terms once my prefrontal cortex is going on. I'm sorry, buddy. I just got a little mad. I'm sorry I scared you. I got angry. There's a spill. Nothing you could do to it's totally not personal. It's my thing. So repair for sure. And so when I do a mentally visualization, like going back to the trigger of this, when I do a mental visualization of this, I want to notice my body, notice my thoughts, and just observe, just really observe. That's such a power move for us. Like that's such a superpower for us to be able to observe our thoughts, observe what our body is doing at the time. So it could be heat in the back of the neck. It could be sweaty palms for some people. It could be this jumpy movement. It could be tightening of the jaw, tightening of the chest, some gut discomfort. So just really observe what's happening in your body and then in your thoughts too. When you go to visualize something that your son or daughter did that you weren't expecting, and maybe you flew off the wall or however you want to say it, in a space like we are today, you can do this right now. Close your eyes, go back to that setting that gave you a really strong activation within the body and in the mind. And once we get that, I call it sifting, like sifting through your body and mind. So sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts is sifting. SIFT. Sensations, what's going on in my body. Images, are there any memories that come up? Are there any other images from my subconscious, from my unconscious, right? That's a huge connection point, communication for us is images. They like see red, right? That's an image, like it's filtered red, maybe a certain color. You know, when something happens, an image of something that happened in the past, an image from your imagination. Gosh, this is where like things can go all over the place when it comes to your imagination. And then you connecting kind of symbology towards it or some sort of wisdom from this, right? Thanks, Chris. I definitely had a few of those moments when my girls were super young. Oh, yeah, man. We all have. You're human. Even psychologists, parenting experts who are preaching this stuff, we're human. I'm just telling people what is helpful for me and then what science is saying. Hey, this is one way that you can release these emotions. You can express these emotions in a healthy way versus only when your child is acting up, so to speak. All right. So thanks, Chris, for that. The goal isn't perfection. It's building awareness and tools for strengthening the muscle system. So now I want to go into regulating yourself first, which is I call like the bottom up practice. Hmm. And we're just gonna practice right now. So if you can, if you're available to do this, close your eyes. And if not, that's okay too. Just take a nice deep breath in and hold at the top for four. One, two, three, four, and a really slowly as you can go. Exhale and do it again. And this time, focus on your heart. Focus on your heart as much as you can. And just imagine your heart opening and that part of your body opening and expanding. I always like to imagine the light that's in my heart. It's red today. Sometimes it's different colors, but your light that it's emanating might be different for you. So whatever color kind of speaks to you right now, that's the light, and it's emanating out further and further, encompassing your body fully and completely. And just notice your body's sensation. Notice if there's any discomfort or if there's any warmth, if there's any relaxation on parts that usually are uncomfortable. Good. Now breathe into this part and really make sure that you're very comfortable and you're very aware of how this feeling is coming through your body. Beautiful. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is go to the situation that when your son or daughter are acting out or not acting up. Maybe they're not doing anything, and that's something that irks you, right? We were all wired differently in our background. So and just be really compassionate, right? We're observing right now. We're just taking a look at how our bodies feel, how our mind goes into different images, different thoughts. And we're just observing and telling ourselves it's okay. It's okay. This is how we get out of the cycle. We acknowledge what's happening in our body, what's happening in our minds. We're just acknowledging these parts. We're literally saying, hey, I see you, tight chest. I see you, heat in the back of my neck. I notice you, palms are sweaty. Take a deep breath in. And now that we're back into this loving space, this is Parent from Love. Just notice how you can move this love in your heart to those places that could be uncomfortable. So the back of your neck, right? Your shoulders tightening up, sweaty palms, tight jaw. Now we're sending this love from our heart into those body parts that might be a little bit more in need of that love, of that light, of that warmth, of that openness and expansiveness. When we acknowledge these parts, it's really important to express gratitude. They are our friends, they're a signal. The more harmony that we can bring to our parts, whether it be body parts, whether it be psychological parts, and we accept these parts of us, it's called integration. Like that's really the biggest part that can be difficult. However, when it's with someone guiding you, and then also, I mean, we're doing it right now, right? We're just saying, hey, I see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. Because if you see this part as an enemy, the more that you resist something, the more that it will persist in the world of psychology, kind of trauma informed practices. And if that's really difficult for you right now, that's okay. Let yourself know it's okay to not do that. That's no problem. This is where it starts, is just the acknowledgement and the awareness that this is something that's difficult for me right now, and that's okay. So now I want to move into control versus safety. So parenting often defaults to control when we feel powerless or scared. It's a lot of the default that we can be coming in on is thinking that we need to control something. And that usually comes with fear or powerlessness. And so, a lot of parent, the teachers as well, they'll use control, which is timeouts, threats, bribes, punishment to create order, but it rarely builds true safety to the child. And it definitely disconnects. And so, what safety is when there's a regulated adult presence, there's an emotional attunement, validation for this one. And if you don't know what validation is a huge core principle to interpersonal neurobiology right now. It's a very big cornerstone to how to stay emotionally connected when there's an emotional turmoil. What it looks like is I see that you're mad. I see that you're angry. I see that you're sad. I understand that I would feel that way too. Even if you don't agree, I hear that a lot from parents. What if you don't agree? Like their emotions doesn't even matter. Emotions are their reality. Emotions are their reality. And the more that you resist that notion, the more that it will persist, that your child will continue to be in a big emotional turmoil with something that you might not see as fitting. And that's not our judgment. That's not our place. I think a lot of us here grew up that way. I know my parents, they would like to sugarcoat it, right? It's not as bad as you think. It's not like it, which is nice. It's almost like after the emotions leave, then we can think about it. When we feel about it, we validate. I understand that you're mad, and I would be too. Is that kind of the same thing? Just estimating and connecting with them. Tell me more. And then a whole treasure trove of insights from your young little one will come. And it'll be one of the best conversations you might ever have, at least up until then, because this is something that you can elongate and validate and validate. And then because it feels so good to your little one, they're going to do it with friends, and their friends are going to feel that. And then it's a ripple effect validation. It's really how I see it. And it's such a core principle to Oh, you can call it disciplined parenting. You can call it, I don't even know. It's really indigenous parenting, to be honest. It's how we've been wired and evolved to parent. There's a couple different things throughout our history that kind of made us go haywire. So now there's science that allows us, in anecdotes, right, experiments and studies that allows us to kind of right this ship, which is why I'm here. Parenting is such a huge part of the evolution of society. So control is fear-based, right? And safety is connection-based. Safety is connection-based. Children behave better, not when they're controlled, but when they feel safe. So what helps you feel safe enough to cooperate or open up? Speaking personally here, I know when my mom used to tell me, take out the garbage right now, and I was busy doing something. It really didn't matter. It was maybe it was homework or video games or something. Probably not homework, but if she said take your homework or take the trash out right now, I wouldn't. I would rebel. I'm gonna feel safe. I want to. I don't want to do it because you told me to. She got smart and she said, "Hey, when you get a moment, can you take out the trash? Hey, when you can you do the dishes?" That's autonomy. That's like putting the ball in my court. That's increasing my autonomy. I feel safe now. Now I want to do it. Now I'm going to pause my game because you asked so nicely and you respected my time. And so, yeah, I'm going to do that. I remember those moments very vividly, actually. And it might be something totally out of left field for some of you parents. However, try it 3 to 5 times, I'd say, because your son or daughter are going to be like, wait, what? Did you say when I have a moment or when I have time? They might take advantage of that at first, but keep doing it. I'm telling you, this is something that is naturally in us to parent from a space of safety and connection and love. And one way to do that is when you have a moment, when you get a chance, can you? Okay, that's me when I felt safe enough to cooperate or open up, when I feel respected, right? When I have my autonomy not trampled over or shamed or guilted, but hey, I love you. This is something we got to do around the house. When you get a moment, do it. And then we can also shift the question from how do I get them to stop to what would help them feel safe right now? This is not coddling. What would help them feel safe right now? So your child could have the emotions, and I'm definitely not saying have them stop the emotion. What we can do is co-regulate and provide that safe connection so they can expand their choices and also come at it from a space of love and respect again. So, what would help them feel safe right now? Would it be validation? Hey, honey, I know you really want to do this right now. I get it. I don't like it when someone tells me to get off something and I'm in the middle of it. I understand that. Like really getting into their shoes, right? Having that empathy, and it starts with a regulated nervous system. It's near possible to do that without a regulated nervous system. So we're going to talk about now how we can become that calm parent. This is the starter pack. So this top down regulation. So using the thinking brain to calm the body down. And that is like self-talk, right? I can do this. I can do this. Stay calm or be calm, not the chaos. Something along those lines. It's not about right now, is another one that I've heard. It's not about right now. Reasoning and reframing. Now, this can be really tricky when our prefrontal cortex goes out of bounds, right? So I really like bottom up regulation is the bee's knees. Like that, this is the change, this is the transformation. So breathing, Everything within the bottom up regulation, so using our bodies to get regulated, is something that we do all the time. Movement and then sensory input. So breath, taking a nice deep breath in, maybe counting to 10 can really put you in a parent from love space where you can get silly if you feel like it's a silly mode. If you feel silly, you can choose different options that are creative, that are innovative. Okay, honey, if you want up until commercial break for your video or up until the next time that you die on your video game, right? That's what I always like to do too, is pick out something that is like a natural ending point for whatever they're doing on screen time or video games, and then let them know, okay, that's it. And then you're gonna go to dinner or do chores or whatever. So you're empathizing, right? I understand you're in the middle of something, and here, you could do it right after this. All right, so movement, if you want to do like a bump into the chest or even like drumming, I mean, tapping is movement too, but that's weird. And in the moment, we're thinking about in the moment ways of doing movement. You can just do some jumping real quick, or even just like that really regulates. And I think it really depends on the person too. Maybe movement isn't your thing. This is where, if I was coaching you, we would individualize it. I'd ask you, what did you like to do as a kid? Because that really gives you a ballpark of, okay, that's going to be regulating because it's so ingrained in you. Sensory input, you're right. Auditory, so music, maybe put some music on that you can regulate to, that's fun, engaging, or not. Maybe you feel like you want to be sad. That's fine too, but some sort of sensory input, auditory, light a candle, smell something, that's a really big, quick way to get regulated is through our olfactory system. Olfactory system is really connected to our memories and our limbic brain. I know not everyone has a candle or something that they want to smell, but just keep it in mind. There's different ways that people would like to be regulated, and the sky's the limit. There's a lot of different ways to stay go from dysregulation to regulation. I'm letting you know the body, the sensory is where it's at. And it could be spinning. That's called the stipular. Or it could be like pressure, like you could hug yourself or something like that. Pressure, that's proprioceptive. So these different sensory inputs could help you regulate more than someone else. Like it's a really fun avenue to go through and explore. So most dysregulation starts bottom up. Trying to think your way out just doesn't work because, like I said, your prefrontal cortex is gone when S hits the fan, and so we need to figure out down, bottom up regulation. So for kids and adults, bottom up strategies are often more effective in the moment. Some examples are deep belly breaths. So this is where you feel your belly go out and you feel your belly go in. That is how we're supposed to breathe as a human. And I know when I began, I don't know if it was meditation or practice, or I think it was meditation that taught me, oh, I'm breathing in a way that tenses me up, right? A lot of people will breathe with their chest, which is just tensing. But the belly, you can put your hand on your belly and it goes out and in. Shaking it out, okay? Shaking it out, just doing like snakes real quick. Not everybody has that work for them. It's really depending on your history and having a sensory break if you need it. So, needing just a minute or nine to relax. It can be done for everybody. Not everybody likes that though. And maybe more sensory is actually more soothing to you. I know for me, I like the TV on. This is just like how I grew up. It's not really Something that now I want to do so much, but I know before JJ, we'd have the TV off and I'm like, why? Why do I feel agitated? Oh, there's not like sounds in the background. So that's how I grew up. Not everyone's the same way. Maybe less sound is more comfortable for you. Just another, point to take home. And then top down, once we kind of get the bottom up going, and the top down, positive self-talk. I got this. Counting, visualizing calm, beach, golfing, working out, the grass, painting, dancing, your favorite memory with your family. I love doing meditation on that with people because that instantly gets you into your body and gets you into a safe feeling in your body. So as parents, we need both, but bottom up tools are essential during meltdowns. So regulate yourself first, okay? So bottom up practices could be shaking, could be hitting the chest, and could be singing. I love singing. Oh my gosh, that's a bottom up practice. Singing, favorite tune, humming. That's actually my go-to. That is how you get the thinking brain back online, which gives you creativity, empathy, and love, compassion, and very decisive and values-based decision making too, is what comes from a regulated nervous system. So that allows you to have all kinds of choices when it comes to responding to your child, right? So your breath is a tool. It's not a to-do. Let me give you a couple different techniques. I'm going to spend some time on breathing because it's that important for regulation. Breath, it's not just a technique, okay? It's a built-in regulator. It's always available to us. But when it becomes just another task on your list, it loses its power. The belly breath is rewarding of itself. I think once you get into a good practice of belly breathing and breathing that really does reward us by us just helping us feel good, you're going to be more likely to do it. Instead of like, I should breathe, like, I get to breathe in this moment. I get to have a pause right now. I'm going to give myself this pause right now. I'm going to give myself this breath right now. I get to give myself this breath. One conscious breath can signal safety to your body. It can shift your state from reactive to responsive. It can shift your state from fear into love. This is modeling regulation for your child. We don't need to tell them, hey, take a breath. We could do it, do it loudly. Ooh, we can hum, or they do a song where they can hum with us. All of this is regulated. All of this is playful regulation, adding your own spin. Hey, you want to do some dragon breaths with me? Hey, you want to do some bubble breathing? We'll pop the bubbles, pop, pop, right? So you don't need 10 minutes of meditation. One breath in the car counts. Nice and long exhale. Because when we exhale, we turn on the parasympathetic system, which is the parachute, right? Parasympathetic, the parachute for our body. It's slowing down and regulating our heart rate. Just notice your breath right now. No fixing, just witnessing it, right? Notice what your body did when you heard me do that. The breath reminds us regulation starts with presence, not performance. Presence. Deep breathing allows us to be present. All right, so a couple of try this at home activities is one, two, three, wiggle with me. So name what's bothering you. Could be anger, it could be frustration, annoyance, someone's ignoring you, whatever it is. Take two belly breaths, okay? One, And two, shake your arms like a noodle, wiggle it out, and then talk. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am annoyed. It works better than you think. I just did an example. I couldn't help myself but laugh. And laughter is safety. Smiling is safety, right? If we can create laughter, we can make our loved ones laugh. We can create that safetiness, then the regulation happens. So you've got this. You're building new wiring, one breath and one wiggle at a time. Next podcast is going to be why behavior is communication and what your child might be trying to say. So stick around for the next one. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you soon. Bye.